behavior. Motherfucker never loved us. Fucker never loved us. Worst behavior.
That's right. It's another edition of the Unstable, or the Unstable, that some people want to call it, podcast. We're talking pop culture, relationships, politics. We talk about it all on this podcast. It's Mike Hill hanging out with you, joined by the beautiful and the very talented Claudia Jordan. CJ,
Hey.
What's up? How was your week?
I don't remember. It's all a blur. I'm a little bit drunk today because I'm going on vacation tonight. I'm going to the Dominican Republic.
Where the hell you going?
Me and my girl Annie, we're going to Punta Cana.
Annie. I like Annie.
I know you
like
do.
Annie. I like
I know you
Annie.
do.
Annie's cool.
Punta
She's
and
good
Punta,
people.
huh?
Yeah, we're going to go down there. and
You
have
giving
a-
up the punta?
Is somebody gonna rub your punta?
You
No,
gonna give up the
girls
punta?
don't go on vacation and have random sex. That's a guy thing.
Really?
That ain't what they
No,
did in,
no.
how Stella got her groove back. She
Yeah,
went
that's
down
a-
there and,
that's a movie.
she
Yeah,
did-
vacations
no.
suck if you
I
don't
had
get
sex
no
on
pussy.
vacation one time, not expecting. It was a modeling job. He was like a young, fine model.
Is that how you got the model? Is that how you got the modeling job? You had to give up the sex?
No. We were booked, and like I was like, this would be a great job if there was a really good looking guy here. And then in walks this guy. He was fine as shit. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. There it is.
My
Got
one
Tori in the house. Guy Tori, how was your week, guy?
G to D in the place to be, got kicked out of Trump University. Yes.
That
Yes.
motherfucker ain't even open, bro.
Right.
Trump
Can't
University.
even spell.
Great week, man. But then the end it kind of, messed up, man. My flight got canceled twice on American Airlines in Miami,
Yeah.
man. Then I'm in the airport. I got kicked off my first class seat because I was upgraded. And then the
he's
next
a
flight they put
nigger.
me on, they put me in the middle seat.
In the middle seat in
In
coach.
the middle seat in coach.
Wow.
And on a bigger airplane. It was only 12 first class seats on the first plane, and I got a seat. And then I go on a bigger plane that's 777 and get in a middle seat. And as I'm waiting to get on my second flight to come to L.A., I see my ex-wife in the airport.
Oh, what?
Like, first, she didn't see
Your
me.
ex-wife. But you still cool with
She
your
didn't,
ex-wife?
oh yeah, we mad cool.
Okay,
She's mad
okay,
cool.
okay.
She didn't see me, so
Why
I
was
saw
it a problem?
her.
Why was it a problem then?
Because, I saw her, and I'm like, oh man, I didn't know she was in Miami. We're in Miami.
You still
So
had feelings?
Was she alone?
I saw her and her husband.
Oh,
Her new husband.
Her
And
new
I'm like,
husband.
yeah. So it's
Brought
been a
back some-
while, but I'm like,
He
damn,
saw a guy
man.
point two.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what if they would have been on the same flight and they would
But
have been in
here's
first
the-
class?
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. So I'm like, man, I know they're going back to L.A.
Oh.
And I hope we're on the same flight because now I'm in coach.
Oh,
Like,
damn.
if I get on the plane and they in first class, I got to walk past them to go to coach.
Well,
Right.
your alimony money going to good use.
Hey,
I mean,
man,
that's what it is.
But I will say she married up.
Oh, how's that?
Because
that ain't
Because
hard.
he
No,
called her?
This dude is like 6'7". This dude is like 6'7".
Wow.
That don't mean
How'd that make
married
you
up.
feel?
Yeah.
Huh?
How's
You know,
that-
it's a little weird for a minute, but we talked for a while. So he's good dude. She's in good hands, man. Not that it matters to me. I mean, not that it.
Kinda
He
sounds
have
like
a
it
better
does.
Man
But
if
it's
he just
good.
wears size
It sounds like,
8
it sounds like you
But
care a
it's
little
weird.
bit.
Huh?
It sounds like you care a little
No,
bit.
it's kind. Honestly, I can honestly say that it's finally closure. They actually see it.
To see it?
Yeah, even though I knew it, and they got 2 kids. Dogs.
Jesus Christ.
Well, damn.
Yeah. I think she's moved on,
I
guys.
need,
Right.
you need some
Maybe
counseling,
it's
bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
But actually, because I didn't know who he was.
She
But I
didn't
met
tell
him
you?
today. People were telling me, and then, but seeing him today and
So
talking
you
to
met him for the first time today?
for the first time today.
And what was that like? Was he
It was
cool?
just
Was he
mad
like?
cool because I'm sure she told him about me and how respectful I am of that relationship because I've always been respectful.
See, that's,
Right?
Now,
So
if
how
she
does
would have
it-
been
how
like
does-
bragging about how good you were in bed, he'd be giving you a different type of
Right.
look. Now, if you were like, he was like, oh, he wasn't shit in bed.
Well, you
then,
gotta actually have sex to brag about it.
But
seriously,
So she didn't give you
Wow.
none.
She didn't
Your
give you
wife
none?
didn't
That's
give
not
you
what he
none?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
No,
Tell
but
the truth,
seriously,
guy.
but guys, seriously, when you met him for the first time, did it make you feel uncomfortable when you had to look up to him?
He's like, who's this little guy?
That's everybody I look up to. I look at.
How are you doing, sir?
No, that's my week, but it ended up being being cool.
But
man.
you were supposed to be on a flight with Russell Westbrook and.
Well, I was on my flight. On my flight, it was Amber Rose and Russell Westbrook.
so they were in first class and you weren't.
No, I was with them.
Oh, you
on
were?
the
Soul
first
plane.
flight. On
Okay,
the first
on the
flight.
first flight.
So I'm like, okay,
Are they-
you know,
did they
I'm
get in
gonna
coach?
grab them, see if I can get them on the podcast.
I bet they didn't
So
put them
said,
in the middle seats.
No.
Next flight.
Well, Amber Rose ass can't fit in a regular seat.
She got a big ass.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it was I was going to get him for the podcast. Like, okay, once we land, we get off. I say, hey, come do the podcast. Then
So
when
you
my plane
flew
got
Coach
canceled,
Spirit here.
The
No,
bald,
no.
beautiful beauty.
man, bald and booty. Yes. So then I was like, okay, I'll go in the Admirals Club and I'll hang out with him in the Admirals Club and ask him to come do the podcast. Well, I go in the Admirals Club and they're under construction. So unless you're a member, you can't
Damn.
even buy a day pass. So
Oh,
now,
wow.
His
so now I'm
life
out there with the
sucks.
commoners.
You the comic.
They had you in Gen
You
Pop.
just, I know you just.
He's with
had
the
a terrible
non-union
day.
extras out
He was
there.
in Gen Pop.
Exactly.
All right, Steve Wilson, how was your week, my man?
Actually, my week was spectacular.
Just trying to get eligible here. Here. One more pass.
I need my voucher. Can you tap Hartley me?
Trying to get his $99 a day for 8.
Can you tap Hartley me in first class, please?
Right. That doesn't work.
It's a little industry joke there.
Right, industry people don't get like, what's going on? No, actually, my week was great, man. Me and my lady, we are going to marriage counseling now.
Marriage
But you're not married, though.
Did you pose the question?
No, we're going to do it. You go see counseling first.
Oh,
before
first.
that.
Well, first get engaged. Like, oh, seriously.
No, but seriously too. We got a big ass argument because I'm just joking. So the lady said, "Well, why are you here?" So Carly was like, "So listen, we want because we communicate differently and we've been doing this and real deep." And then she said, "So what do you want? Why are you here?" And I said, "Because I just want you to fix her." I was just joking.
There's a little truth behind all jokes. A little truth behind
Why
all
did I
jokes.
say that? Oh, you can't joke in an hour session, bro, that you're paying for. That's an hour.
Two things. One, she is adopted. Right?
Yeah.
So saying that is really fucked up.
And Steve's dad was
It
a
was a
crackhead,
joke.
though. I mean,
Yeah,
damn.
no,
come on,
but saying
man.
that about
Wait,
a
whoa,
woman.
whoa, whoa.
and she's
Your dad's a
adopted,
crackhead.
He
You say you want to fix her?
Was.
Yeah, it was a crazy.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
His dad stole his bike when he
But
was
once
little.
a crackhead,
was
you're kind of
15.
a crackhead for life.
Right.
It doesn't really go
First
away.
of all, he stole my bike when I was 15. That was a long time ago. And
That was wrong
He
thing to
was
say,
a crackhead.
You were wrong.
but-
It was a joke.
Yeah, but dude, you can't joke around with that when
And
she's
your
been
grandmother
adopted.
threw piss
Who-
on people. Like you
are you to
got
judge?
issues. Exactly.
That was wrong.
Your
First
daddy
of all.
stole your bike and so
Number two.
Time out.
Hold on,
Listen,
number two.
you talking about my goddamn week. I don't need y'all jumping on me.
Hold on, number two.
The hell was
You
going
jumped
on?
on me when I talked about my week.
Okay,
So
good point.
This
All
is
right.
Number
true.
two, I went to marriage counseling.
Uh-huh.
I went to marriage counseling in
Oh,
L.A.
shit. He got a divorce. This shit ain't going to work.
That's what I'm saying. I went to marriage counseling before I got married here in L.A. with a Baptist, minister, and then I had to go to one in St. Louis with a Catholic priest, which I don't know why because he'd never been married before. What are you gonna tell me about putting hands on a woman?
Fucking boys. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
Oh my God.
What did he tell you about your wife? So, son, you grab her balls. What? And you say, don't tell your mother.
Damn, I hate Catholic joke.
Give me 10 Hail Marys and I'll be fine with that. It'll be fine. You can
marriage
do that.
counseling, premarital counseling is good. So
Yeah.
you got to say premarital counseling. You say marriage counseling.
Well, pre-marriage.
Premarital,
Okay, well, good for you for trying.
Yeah.
Listen,
man.
we're going to try. We're going to work this out. So I had
She's
a great
mad at you
week
now,
with it.
though.
Hell
Well, no,
yeah.
she was upset, but after she realized it was a joke, she's dating a fucking comedian. So
Right.
in the time, she was mad, but now she's not.
You gonna go home today and you can be like, babe, what's wrong? I'm being fixed.
No.
Well,
See, that don't happen. That
myself
don't
Yo,
right now.
broke. Why don't you get a job with your broke ass? That shit gonna turn black.
Why don't you fix your money situation?
That-
Why don't you fix this
That
shit,
don't
please?
happen in my household. I use Viagra. I don't
Okay.
do that.
Hey,
you
when you
really?
get a job again, man, you can buy her a ring and actually get engaged.
I hate him.
I'm just
Do you
saying.
use Viagra?
Yes, I do.
Because I was with a guy and he needed Viagra, and I thought of I went on the internet and I tried to buy some drugs, and I was gonna grind them up and put them in his spaghetti. But I didn't know. I was nervous. Like, what if I gave him too much?
Do
and he'd
you?
have a
No.
heart attack,
But you do
whatever.
realize that's male rape. You can't drug a dude. That's
Male
Bill
rape
Cosby.
is such a joke.
That's
Okay,
Bill
that's such
Cosby
ridiculous.
type
I don't want to
shit.
hear. Oh, he's raped. Oh, and
No,
Well, you
Viagra
just-
doesn't.
you just
Viagra
got
doesn't
Donnie
make you
McClurkin.
want
I'm
to have
supposed to feel
sex. It just
sorry
gives you
for
a
you?
hard on.
Yeah.
oh, a woman thrusted her vagina on your penis, your hard penis. I feel.
Depends
I feel
on the
bad for you.
woman.
I'll take it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, serve me.
Male
any
rape
day.
is a joke. I'm sorry.
I had a good week.
A
It
good
was-
week?
it was
What
a
the fuck
week.
is
Yeah,
that?
I'm
Who
dying.
died?
I'm about to die.
Who died?
Hey, because I'm getting older.
It was his birthday.
My birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you
Right,
for
happy
showing up.
birthday.
I appreciate it, man. My birthday was on Saturday.
How's it feel to be
I
63?
saw the pictures, man.
Bitch, I ain't 63.
Damn, they got emotional on that.
sorry.
Wow, he
Right,
felt
that-
that one.
Nigga got
63
sensitive.
about me. Thanks for coming out, Claudia.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Thanks
Hey,
for bringing a
motherfucker.
gift as well.
I was the
Oh,
only
Steve.
one. The
Yeah,
rest
brought
of
a
your
gift.
cheap friends brought nothing.
Well, Steve doesn't have a job, so I can
Cheap friends,
understand. You
but-
know,
First of all,
But he's with an Asian woman. She has good credit.
and
First
she didn't
of
even come.
She was being fixed.
She was,
I think she had a mani-pedi scheduled that night.
No, first of all, they do hair, goddammit, not nails. Tired of y'all saying this shit. Get the
Hey,
ring.
Did
can
she
I
give me some bundles? Does she have a connect? Is she the
What?
plug?
She got kinky straight in the house right
Oh,
now.
I need
my.
some Hawaiian silky.
yo,
I don't know.
She got,
22
she got some Gucci shoes, but it's an H in Gucci. though.
Listen, you know what?
I'm not eating at your house.
I'm gonna bring my dry cleaning about later.
Listen, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna have
Sure,
me
it's
just my
shrimp
own
fried rice.
goddamn woman.
Shorts chicken.
We went to counseling together. That's my week. Goddamn it, leave me
This is
alone.
awfully chewy.
Oh,
It's a bit gamey.
hilarious.
So
We
your birthday
love-
party, you had a good
I
time.
had a great party. Thanks so much for the gift card. You
I
gave me
think
a
you
gift
go to
card.
dinner somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
PF Chains. I'm
Oh, he'll love
yeah,
PF
PF Chains.
Did you get some ass that night?
No.
You don't want to say it right now, do you? like he look, he was torn because, ladies and gentlemen, my friend is here that he is very beautiful, my friend. He's torn because he wants to be the man in front of y'all, but he doesn't want to, like, really say the truth. So
look, we know that I'm a reformed person, right?
I'm
trying to be that person that used to have that past. That
so you were a man whore.
No, not necessarily a man
whore. You were a slut.
I'm gonna call you out, dude. You know I'm gonna keep it 100 with you.
So he was a slut?
Shit.
I was not. I've had a past. I've done things. I dated a lot of people in the past.
So you were.
What the fuck?
Let me find out you was a thought.
Hey, I ain't say nothing. What you looking at
me
for?
You don't have to say anything. You're supposed to be backing me up on this.
What am I supposed to say?
On this?
Nigga, you ain't gonna have me lying on radio.
Here I am. I'm a different person.
Everybody. So yeah, you should be backing him up.
But can you admit that I've made strides in the right direction? Can you admit that?
Like what direction you talking about? No, I'm serious. I mean, what direction you talking about?
Are we talking doggy style?
You got any crickets? Jerome, you got any crickets?
Hey, it's time to move on.
Wait, so you were former male thought.
Yeah, I've had a pass. I had a pass, and
you're a slut.
Now I'm a better person. Now I'm a better person. I'm learning. And I'm just
this is good stuff. I can't wait for the guests we got coming up.
Yeah, I mean,
that boy is going hard pitching.
Anyone that is, may be interested in the future, I'm just letting them know that,
you're not a dirty dick whore anymore.
No,
wow. Let's wrap this week up, man, because we got a great guest coming on the show today.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. Real quick though, man. This was also a sad week because we lost two comedy legends, and Dick Gregory and Jerry Lewis.
Wow.
And Dick Gregory, man, I found out before I went on stage, right before my show, and it was crazy because it was hard to focus. But it's funny. Dick Gregory is from St. Louis, my hometown. Went to high school with my dad. Him and his brother Ron Gregory, man. I know his grandson, his nephew. I'm sorry, Mark Gregory, who does comedy as well.
He opens up for me.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And then the thing about it was, I used to have a problem focusing before I went on stage. And I was talking to Dick Gregory one time because I met him through Ed Weinberger, who's a great TV producer.
Nice.
And he said, man, he meditates and he goes to a place where it's as quiet as possible. And he gets so still and so quiet that he can hear his heart beating. Wow. And he centers himself before going on stage. And it's funny because after I heard the news about him passing, right before I went on stage, I actually had to go do that.
Wow.
And then I did the show, man. And then after the show, man, I told the audience, man, I couldn't hold it. I broke down because, he was definitely not only just a great comedian, but a mentor and a civil rights activist. Who was, and the first black man to run for president.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
In 68, he did run for president.
Yep.
He opened a lot of doors for Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby. And, of course, he was very active in the black community.
He got a couple of books out, too.
And the whole thing with Ed Weinberger is the guy who created Marriage Out of More, Taxi, Cosby Show, Sparks, and the Good News, the show I was on. They met because Ed Weinberger wanted to write for him.
Mm-hmm.
And when Dick Gregory was that comedian, that Kevin Hart comedian, that where everybody wanted to work with him, and Ed went to meet with him in Washington to meet with him. And then what ended up happening is Dick Gregory took Ed to the Million Man March. To the speech in Washington, the I Have a Dream speech.
Yeah,
And Ed missed it because he was making out with this little Jewish girl behind the Lincoln Memorial.
Well, that happens.
But Dick Gregory, man, was that guy. Has been that guy forever, man.
So big political and social activism. Martin Luther King once again on Washington, ran for president in '68. Hunger strike to protest police brutality along. So we've been talking about police brutality for a while. Also, remember the Dick Gregory drinks, health guru.
Yes.
Dick Gregory
from the house party. He was just some of them Dick Gregory.
Some of that Dick Gregory, man. And also Jerry Lewis, big in for MDA as well, muscular dystrophy. So in the telethon.
And that's one of the reasons why I like to talk about politics in my act, man. I know some comedians choose not to, and that's their right, man. But Dick Gregory was one who put that social justice in his act and made it funny, but also made it informational.
Yeah, remember one of the jokes he said, baseball is a great sport for black people. It's the only sport where a Negro can shake a stick at a white man and it won't start a riot.
Right.
So getting it done, making things happen. So rest in peace to both of those comedy legends. Dick Gregory.
Thank you for honoring him, man.
And Jerry Lewis.
Every incident that have been tipped off in this country in the last 2 years up north have been tipped off by a uniformed police. Now, I'm not saying the police is right or wrong. I'm saying when you have these incidents that's tipped off with this one symbol, then we should look into it and see what it is. When 22 million people, be they black or white, start hollering police brutality, then it's time to start listening to 22 million people and going in. A lot of people say, well, it's not police brutality. Police brutality is not when a cop necessarily knocks me upside the head. It's when a cop calls me nigger when he's making the arrest. It's when he handles me wrongly in every process of processing the arrest. This is a form of police brutality. And there's so few people that seem to understand that when the Negro says it's police brutality, then you say, well, he's just looking for a way out. Well, how do these many people look for a way out in so many areas in America? It's like Billy Graham, I think, made the statement of statements when he came into L.A., and he said he thought the communists was behind the riots. And there's just not enough communists in Russia to stand on every corner in a Negro ghetto waiting for a cop to arrest a Negro and start a riot.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking my pants.
Back on the Unstable Podcast, Mike here, along with Guy Torrey and Steve Wilson.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, man. Get your own, man.
Claudia stepped out for a second. I think she had to take a phone call.
She had to do
man.
number 2, I think.
Wow.
She had to take the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Why you going to put her business out there? She had
You
Chipotle.
think her like her feces is pretty? You know, like comes out like little bloop 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 bloop.
Wow.
Man, she shit like everybody else.
You think
man.
you think like pretty women have big turds?
Yes, I
Yes.
level one.
Really? Oh, you.
Sorry, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, but she got creatine turds.
Some mornings I walk out of the bathroom like I want a
She
divorce.
got protein shake turds,
Oh
man.
my gosh. So it is true. Which brings us right into our segment, Unreal News.
We got a plane crash, 29th, and we are
you
just
kidding
getting
me?
word that this is being shot as part of a TV show.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, first up, man. Hey, you know what is a person, a white guy, a white person
I don't
do
know.
to people? Well, I'm gonna tell you. What does a white person do to try and tell you he's not racist? What's the first thing? What's their first thing that they go to?
I have black friends.
And that's exactly what
There you
Trump's
go.
lawyer is saying. All right?
Really?
Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, he posted a collage on Twitter coming off of all that stuff that was going on in Charlottesville with Donald Trump,
Yeah.
showing him with a lot of black people. He
Are you
basically,
serious?
yeah. He
Did you
said
see the
that
picture, though?
Yeah, I saw the picture.
They all pouring them drinks. So that's not his friends.
They're all Republicans, actually.
course,
They're
of
the,
course.
and he said that his mother's a Holocaust survivor, and he says in a hashtag on Twitter, "I have no tolerance for racism." What do you guys think about that?
I
Come on,
smell
man.
bullshit.
It's bullshit. I mean, whatever happens, about black people, when he had the meeting with the black colleges and those heads, those
Photo
people,
op.
it's all photo ops.
Yeah.
When he hadn't all come to Trump Tower when he was running for office, it's all photo ops, man. It's fake. That's fake fucking news.
Right.
Yeah.
John Stewart said it the best. Everything over there is bullshit mountain.
I tell you, the worst thing to show that you are a racist is to basically come up and basically say, "Well, I have a black friend."
Right.
You don't say that. You know,
Right.
when
First
you
of all, if you know how many you have, you're racist.
I
don't
actually
know
had a
how many
boss.
white friends I got.
I had a boss who told me that because he had this reputation for being racist or whatever, and he basically said, "Well, yeah, I used to use the N-word when I was growing up in Ohio, but I've changed. You're like, you know what? My daughter, she has a baby by a black man, and yeah, I have a black friend. He's a judge." Really?
Well-
Meanwhile, you remember the thing that went on in Charlottesville, and one of those neo-Nazi guys that was coming out now on Vice News. His name is Chris Cantwell.
Yeah.
Remember that he was out on Vice News and he was showing off
And they
all
poured
these
the milk on
guns.
his face. And
Well, they showed all he showed all the guns and showed, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. He claimed that his group was not nonviolent, and he claimed we'll effing kill these people if we have to. He said all that.
Yeah.
But then a couple of days later, when after everything went down, and all of a sudden he found out he had a warrant for his arrest. We had that sound.
I'm terrified. I'm afraid you're going to kill me. I really am. All right? So, just let's do this however we need to do it. If I got to go to jail today, it won't be the fucking first time. All right? I didn't want to. I don't think I should. I think I honestly believe that I've been law-abiding, and I've been engaged in violence. I have. There's no question about it, and I've done nothing to hide that.
Aw, boo-hoo.
Wowsy, wowsy, woo, woo.
Ooh, no, he
Come
wanted.
on, man.
Oh man, that's gonna look good when he goes to jail, right? They're gonna enjoy that.
He
They like
hate
him crying.
niggas, but all he going to the jail with a whole bunch of them in there. So he gonna be new meat.
Yeah, that's pretty much. No, that's not just the story though. All right, so he's been banned from a dating site.
Really?
Yeah, it's banned from it's called OkCupid. He's got banned because they found out. They basically said love is for everyone.
Right.
Basically.
When hate stop you from getting pussy. I bet you on his Facebook page, he like, I love niggas now.
I just want to date one.
Say my best friends are niggas.
Okay, Cupid now? Can I come back?
Yeah, can I come back, please?
That's the cure to all hate.
You better get on farmersonly.com, though, right?
right.
You don't have to be lonely.
Mate, you think he could join blackpeoplemeet.com now?
Is that still around?
Yeah, I think it is still
What
around.
was that Black Planet I'm thinking about?
No, I think Black Planet is gone.
Okay.
Let's go to China now. There's a Chinese restaurant, obviously in China.
Don't say that racist.
I'm not. Chinese. Well, no, because it'd have been a Chinese restaurant here. They got plenty of Chinese restaurants here. So in China, there's a Chinese restaurant.
Is Korean, so don't make any jokes.
I am
different.
not. Look, I understand.
Okay, my bad.
I was with a
That's all right.
Vietnamese lady, so I understand that.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, and don't call them Oriental because that's the food. It's
Hey,
not
some of my best friends are
Stupid. But get this, you guys are like this. Oh, guy, you're not an ass man. You're more of a breast man. You're a breast man. You'll love this. All right. So this Chinese restaurant is offering women discounts.
What?
Based on their bra
That's
size.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the name of the restaurant is called Trendy Shrimp.
Yes.
And women with an A cup get 5% off.
What?
Women with a G cup would get 65% off.
What about women with sippy cups?
They take off the tip.
The nipple be the tip.
What about women look like they got 2 Tic Tacs in their pocket?
They gotta pay extra. That's a shame. That's a shame.
So that women with the big areolas get it all.
Oh yeah, they get it all, man. So that promotion actually got suspended after a lot of backlash over there. Yeah, things just happen
Big
like that.
areolas.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I like big areolas.
What
Big
the fuck is going on
areolas. Oh, I like
why is
big
our producer John smiling?
Yeah, because he likes big areolas. The big
Jerron
areolas.
is over there smiling really hard with his hands in the air. I don't get that.
Because we're
Jerron, nod if you like big areolas. Nah, yeah, you like big areolas. Yeah,
Young
there it
boys.
is, there
I
it
hate
is.
young boys.
Yeah, big areolas. All right, British Airways, you're in trouble.
Uh-oh.
What they do now?
You're in trouble. Get this, because they made passengers sit in pissy seats.
What?
What?
You missed the joke. You're in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say they pissed off, but go ahead. I want to know more.
There's a businessman. He paid £1,200, which I looked it up. It's about $1,500 for a flight from London to South Africa. Now he gets to his seat. He realized that the seat was damp, and after looking at it and talking to the flight attendant, they determined that the reason it was damp is because a passenger had peed in the seat. Now get this. Now the stewardess, even though she agreed, she went to the bathroom. She got him some wet wipes, brought the wet wipes back, and gave it to the passenger because
Are you serious?
she expected him to clean off the seat.
Was that worse than your flight guy?
Hey, man.
I know, right? Was that your airline?
Hey, that must have been my airline, man. But I got a pet peeve about that.
What?
Like, people with bladder problems, don't get a damn window seat. Sit your ass on the aisle. You know, because you get up every fucking 5 minutes and you gotta go pee.
Yeah, that's true.
why I get the aisle seat. I'm the row captain, goddammit. I am monitoring the whole damn row. You sit in my row, you get 2 get-ups the whole goddamn flight, 2 get-ups. I don't care if we're flying to Zimbabwe. That third get-up, sit, piss in a barf bag, goddammit.
Oh, he feels very so passionate about that.
I do, man.
Wow.
You got a going problem. Well, go your ass in the seat then. And I guess they did. That must have been my plan.
Every 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you?
Yeah, because I sneak in the bathroom and get high. You
With
know
your
you
pen?
can smoke on the airplane. Yeah.
With your pen?
I sneak on the airplanes and get high in there.
Really? You got a problem there.
Yeah, I
man.
know,
You
man.
can't
You
put
really-
it down
you can't
for,
wait.
for a half-hour flight to Vegas.
Hey, is the high more
LA?
intense?
I'm a pothead.
Is the high more intense because you're in higher altitude?
I don't know, because you go straight to sleep.
Oh, really?
You
Well, then
don't-
what,
you don't
how
feel
you gonna enjoy the high? You
Exactly.
can go to straight.
Because you can't sleep on the plane.
I do. I sleep all the time, and I don't do
can
do
sleep on
drugs
the
like
Oh,
you.
so you get high to go to sleep.
Yeah, wait, you can sleep on the plane?
Yo, I sleep before they're done boarding when I'm in first class.
Can you?
No, I wait until they bring my meal out
you
before I go to
sleep?
sleep.
No, sometimes I'm tired of them. I fly 40 weekends a year. I had every
Wow.
meal they had, dude.
You can sleep on a plane.
I
I
sleep
sleep all the
good
time
on a
on the
plane.
plane. Yeah, I sleep all the time
like
on
a
the plane.
baby. We ain't bitches like you.
Wow, yeah, I can't sleep on a plane.
Hey, but get this. All right, so
B.A. Baracus from the 18.
Right, nigga. I get my drugs.
back to the British Airways story. Now, the guy told the stewardess, he said, "I can't sit here." Guess what her response was? This is how bad flight attendants are. He says, "Sir, I can see you're going to be work me really hard on this flight, aren't you?" Oh, that was a sister.
Are you serious?
No, it was
Why you
British
gonna put that on
Airways.
a
I don't
sister,
think it
man?
was British. Yeah, it's British
You
Airways.
You got to wet my nerves, mate.
That's just flight attendants, period.
Yes.
Yeah, flight attendants. For real. I don't
They some
understand.
mean bitches, man.
That is, man. So
I ain't gonna say
Some
that.
of them, not
So
all
get-
of them, but some of them, some mean, them old ones, some mean bitches.
and they've been there for 40 years.
Yeah.
Before they were on the first, they were flight attendants for the Wright brothers. I mean, that's how old they
exactly.
were.
Exactly.
So the guy put a plastic bag over the seat and covered it with a blanket. From England all the way to
Hell
South
no.
Africa. Yeah, so they offered him some miles and a flight voucher and an upgrade. That's all he got.
You could have gave one of them flight attendants.
Right.
See, we got a lot of couples in the house. It's couples night, you know. Let's get this out in the open. I hate couples. Fuck y'all. I hope y'all all break up. I hate new couples. That's what I hate. The new couple. Old couples, you've been together. I respect that. Them new couples, all that touching, that book. Fuck that. That's bullshit. That ain't real love. Real love is when you've been together and you don't give a fuck about each other. That's real love. You know, live in the same house with the motherfucker, don't even speak, that's love. You just walk by my mother, you pick him up after school, fuck you, bitch, I'm tired of your shit. That's love. That's real love. When you just together for the kids, you know what I'm saying, that's love. My grandparents been together over 60 years, and they hate each other. Every time she walk the room, he be like, God damn it, she's still alive, shit. My grandmother used to tell us shit you shouldn't tell your grandkids. She be in the kitchen cooking like, I'm gonna kill your granddaddy. Sick of that nigga. She know he got high blood pressure. She put salt in all his food. She like, I'm sick of this motherfucker. Clee, you want some cereal? That's love.
All right, back on the Unstable Podcast, Mike Hill, Claudia Jordan, Guy Torrey, and Steve Wilson. Of course, our thoughts, our prayers with everybody that suffered the tragic loss that happened in Spain last week, of course. But our thoughts in the nation still reeling went on in Charlottesville with the white supremacists marching and the reaction from Donald Trump, of course. Your president, Steve Wilson, your president, Claudia Jordan.
No, he's my former friend.
It's not mine.
Guy Torrey.
It's not mine. I'm Dominican.
Of course, we know what happened. He came out first. He blamed many sides on the issue. Then he came out on Monday.
Right.
After it almost seemed like he was being held hostage with the basically saying that everybody was at fault.
Once that teleprompter broke,
the white supremacists were at fault. We have nothing. Can't have white supremacists doing what they were doing, right? And then less than 24 hours later, this man comes out and he splits the nation apart.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do. So, as far as I'm concerned, that was a horrible, horrible day. Wait a minute. I'm not finished. Fake news. That was a horrible day. I will tell you something. I watched those very closely, much more closely than you people watched it. And you had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent.
That sounds like Jim Acosta trying to ask. I know that voice.
Yeah, that's why he said fake news. He said
Jim goes in.
fake news.
Jim goes in.
Jim Acosta.
CNN.
On the CNN.
How irresponsible of this man to say these things.
Right.
I'm unsurprised.
It's absolutely amazing that he is not like. When are we going to invoke Amendment 25, the 25th Amendment?
Which one is that?
He needs to get out of there.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
not mentally. He's not
that's when the
mentally
vice president
fit
takes over.
to be president.
And
listen, this is coming from someone. I'm not a Trump hater just because that's the bandwagon thing to do. This was my boy.
Yeah.
I was good friends with Donald Trump. I have his number in my phone right now. He did a lot for me professionally, and I have watched the unraveling of this man. This man is not who he was when I would sit in his office and talk to him. There was a time where he said he liked Barack Obama. when he said he liked John McCain, and that was his boy.
Yeah.
And he was a Democrat at one point, actually.
Yeah.
And to see how far he's come and the things that he's saying, it's like it's like he's still on a reality show where his job is to entertain and be funny and
He flip-flops more than Gucci sandals at a pride parade.
But, he's catering to his base. He's catering. He knew there was a path. That's very funny. He's catering to the same path he took to get into the White House. That is what he's doing now to stay in the White House. Well, okay.
His base.
A lot of people dislike those comments. They came out.
Right.
Democrats, Republicans, white, black, even people on Fox News. I mean, people
No.
got
It's a
emotional.
miracle.
Yeah.
Even Satan weighed in.
Yeah.
Satan said, this is some bullshit.
So,
this is where I draw the line, goddammit.
I didn't
He went
raise
too damn
him
far.
that way.
So a lot of their contributors on Fox News even came out and blasted them, not just the white ones, but, of course, the black ones. Listen to this interview and how emotional Gianno got.
I come today with a very heavy heart. Last night I couldn't sleep at all because President Trump, our president, has literally betrayed the conscience of our country, the very moral fabric in which we've made progress when it comes to race relations in America. He's failed us, and it's very unfortunate that our president would say things like he did in that press conference yesterday when he says, well, there's, good people on the side of the Nazis. They weren't all Nazis. They weren't all white supremacists. Well, Mr. President, good people don't pile around with Nazis and white supremacists. Maybe they don't consider themselves white supremacists and Nazis, but certainly they hold those views. This has become very troubling, and for anyone to come on any network and defend what President Trump did and said at that press conference yesterday is completely lost and the potential to be morally bankrupt.
GOP political analyst Gianno Caldwell joins us right now. Very emotional. Hey, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Man.
Between-
I flew all the way
between you
from
and-
D.C.
Oh,
to
really?
be here with y'all.
Hey, man,
Wow.
I appreciate that.
Hell no, I didn't fly. Are you serious?
But that boy took an Uber.
I want to say, between you and Van Jones last week, crying in the same week, I almost
Exactly.
cried.
Right.
Oh, yeah. See, it's tough to see the brothers crying out there, but
Yeah,
very
man.
emotional, very raw, man.
Yeah.
How you feeling today, man? That video went viral very
it
quickly.
went crazy
Yeah.
viral. New York Times called me. Washington Post has been posted everywhere, and people continue to post it. You know what? Today is a better day. I'm thankful that time is over, and I'll be honest, I had just flew in from Chicago, visiting with family, spent some time with my grandfather who's from the South, and I also talked about him in that interview. He lived in Helena, Arkansas, where there was a hotbed of Klan activity, racism, that kind of thing. And when I woke up, not even woke up because I didn't really get any sleep after that Tuesday press conference, when I got out, which was early morning because I'm here over in L.A., and Fox and Friends films, East Coast time, 6 o'clock.
Early.
Very early. Like, I was really, really emotional, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to say. The original segment was built out to talk about the statues, but I knew that there was absolutely no way that I can go on and talk about statues when this president just did what he did at this press conference.
And you were a supporter, right, before that, right?
So I support our president in the office, whoever that is. If it's Obama or whatever, I may disagree with policy.
Okay.
But certainly I support
But
the
you're a
office of the president. I'm
Republican,
100% I'm a Republican.
Okay.
Yeah, and that video went viral. I mean, more than Kendrick Lamar's left strokes.
Yeah. And your boy T.I.
went viral.
Just went viral.
I'd like to know how it feels to be a Republican that supported Donald Trump and seeing the unraveling, because I have friends that are Republicans that, to be honest, our friendships have been actually affected since this president's been and people that were like arguing so adamantly for Trump, they've become quiet because it's not much to be proud of anymore.
Right.
So how do you still support him?
So let me first explain to you why I was an advocate for him at one time, post-primary general election.
Right.
President Trump, and I didn't agree with the way in which he asserted it. He talked about black issues and Chicago, which is where I'm from. Chicago, Southside all day, of course. Chicago, you may or may not agree with this, but I know firsthand that it's a mess right now.
Yeah.
We got a mayor in Chicago, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, doesn't, in my view, care about black people. Black lives don't matter to Rahm Emanuel. Black votes matter to Rahm Emanuel. I find
that was Obama's boy.
And President Obama didn't speak up much about the violence in Chicago because Rahm was his boy. So when I think about the things that are going on in Chicago, how I have family members who've been impacted by the violence, and he talked about it, I was like, okay, great. When he talked about black unemployment being high, I'm like, great, this is good because we don't have, any Republican or Democrat really talking about these issues. I figured, man, maybe I get a seat at the table and I can really push the narrative, push the envelope, push the agenda. And since he won, the day after he won, because I was on air for 5 hours the night before, they called me saying, hey, what do you want to do for the administration?
So all his background didn't raise red flags, all the lying that he did. No, seriously, all the lying that he did, and the contractors he didn't pay with his companies and things like that. None of that,
Park
like
5.
the Central Park 5, all the stuff that he said didn't say.
The fact that he said he was a Democrat before, and everything he said about Mexico,
and he was running a Republican if he ran for president because
he said they were stupid.
Because they're stupid. I mean, none of that registered and said like, okay. Maybe he will. Maybe he's lying about.
Maybe he's
Chicago
a
stuff.
liar.
So we had two choices. Okay, absolutely two choices. Hillary Clinton. I'm talking post primary, obviously. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Well, Hillary Clinton, I have some major issues with her from a black perspective. That's true. That's true. But she's the only person that supported institutional racism. So you can talk about the Central Park 5. And I get that. I understand that. But at the same time, they did say that they did it, and that's when he published
and Trump not written to black people.
Listen.
Hillary
I'm not going to debate or argue that. Clear.
Absolutely.
We live in. I get that. But when we think about Hillary Clinton, who did support the 94 crime bill, which disenfranchised black Americans as a whole, and she apologized for it, of course, when Black Lives Matter ran up on her. But you were 8 years a U.S. Senator, and you didn't even do it. What did you propose? What did you do? So, to me, the choice was clear. I got a community that's disenfranchised by your support of an issue. And then, we got Donald Trump, the Central Park 5, of course, and the renting to black people. So, to me, I'm going to not.
That's it? That's it, though? You think that's the only negative?
No. For Hillary Clinton, Benghazi, we can talk about
Yeah, but you know what? Benghazi, I mean, I feel like.
And for you to say that's it almost seems as though you're marginalizing the issue, which
I think you're marginalizing Trump. I think I used to be friends with him. He told me, do not waste your time with a black man. Okay? There's a lot of things he said. The things he has with women.
Did you waste your time or not?
I stay wasting my time with you Negroes. Yes, I do. I feel like our country is a lot more.
It didn't impact you. You still live.
Our
He
country
might be a bigot, but he's on to something.
Our country is a lot more sexist than it is racist, I guess, because. I mean, the fact that I feel like, yes, okay, Hillary did her thing. She made her mistakes. Show me a clean politician who has not.
And Claudia,
show me a clean politician. And
so that means in that case, then Donald Trump will qualify. Show you a politician that's not.
But he's not a politician, and he's an amateur, and he's fucking up every single day.
And you hit on something because in my show, and I say that on stage, that this country is more sexist and racist. Black men had the right to vote before white women. A black man became president before a white woman.
13% of black men voted for Donald Trump.
I got friends, white and black, who didn't want to vote for Hillary because she's a woman. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's stupid. A woman can run this country. They run households. They run corporations. They run relationships. They run their mouth. They can get shit done. They can get shit done in Congress.
We abuse our male privilege every day.
Of course, Hillary Clinton was not a perfect candidate. There was a lot to be said about her.
She was a politician.
She was a politician.
I want somebody who's a career politician rather than somebody who's off the street.
And she's not
off the
street.
But that's the problem, though.
It's not.
Career
It's not the
politician.
problem.
No.
But look what's going on now.
Okay.
I want a career brain surgeon. I want a career doctor.
One at a time.
But that's the science.
We're talking to Gianno Caldwell. He's a GOP political analyst and talking about the Trump situation. Got very emotional on Fox News after Trump put his foot in his mouth once again.
And we got a social media handle.
He's a huge liar. Can we say that? Because he flip flops online. Like Guy said, he goes back and forth and won't admit when he is wrong. So you, as a GOP person out there, you're a Republican.
I am.
Can you ever see yourself getting behind this president again after he's shown you his true colors many times, and not just the orange colors? He showed you.
So definitely, we want people to join this conversation at Gianno Caldwell, Twitter, Instagram.
How
Facebook.
about that?
But and this is a question that I've been asked a lot because there's been a lot of media attention that I received from this viral moment. And the truth is this. President Trump must give a very sincere apology, which I'm not sure if he's willing to do. He said that he was good with what he said.
Right.
I cannot support
sincere in Trump. That's an oxymoron, bro. Sincere Trump.
But let me finish,
okay,
though.
Go ahead.
But the truth of the matter is, I don't think that he's going to be able to get much done with this dark cloud hanging over his head. I've talked to Republicans in the White House, Congress, activists, Republican donors, and they're not feeling it right now.
And he doesn't like anything dark, so.
Well, I beg to differ.
Yeah, that's true.
You got personal experience? Are you
Spill
telling on
some
yourself?
Yeah.
I would never touch him.
Something about a threesome, real quick.
I wouldn't touch him with Omarosa's dick. Okay.
I was hoping she'd show up at my shows in Jacksonville this weekend, and she didn't, because I was going in.
Oh, black gargoyle ass bitch.
Oh, wow. Finally, the
Republiu-coon,
reason the white supremacists were coming out is they were trying to protect
nervous.
these
No,
Confederate
I'm like,
statues.
I ain't a part of that conversation.
Do you think she's a beautiful woman?
I think she's attractive. I ain't gonna lie.
In the age of this politics, I don't even compliment women on their looks anymore. I don't.
There you
do
go.
none.
Hey,
Have you ever smelled? Have you ever?
He does not want to go through the sexual
Have you ever
harassment.
stood around her and smelled trout?
Oh,
Wow.
Yo,
Wow. I think she's attractive. I just don't
I'm
like her
not in
inside.
this
Oh,
conversation.
I'm just one. It's just I'm very random. I
That
just
brother
have
trying to
random
keep
questions.
his job. He ain't saying that.
Buffalo, perch, catfish.
hilarious.
Those my ahi tuna.
Fish and chips.
Gianno, we're going to
Her
let
and
you
trout.
get out of here because we want you to continue to keep your
but
job because
I-
we got enough unemployed brothers out here. But real
Wait,
quick.
no, I'm not done with
No,
him.
real quick.
We're not done with
One
him.
of the reasons that the white supremacists were marching is that they were saying they were trying to protect the Confederate statues that are out there. Well, neither here nor there. But Charles Barkley came out and basically said black people don't even really think about those Confederate statues if you come and think about it. But
If you don't live in that
if
town.
you don't live in that town,
Right.
you don't. Is he on to something there? You heard those comments, Steve. You think he's on to something there?
Hell no. You ask white people, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a picture, a monument of Osama bin Laden and the buildings falling down. And we're going to put them up and remind y'all every day of how you felt on September 11th. And then come to me with some damn Robert E. Lee in my face. Kiss my black ass.
Here's the issue. A lot of us didn't know the meaning, and I will say that I was ignorant to some of the monuments. I didn't pay attention to them. I didn't know what they represented. And now that, starting with Colin Kaepernick, and all the stuff that's going on now we're becoming aware of what they represent. We didn't know this
You go
before.
to racist airports, racist bridges, racist schools.
There's one statue that was honoring, I forgot his name, but a man that made a lot of strides in surgery. But a lot of surgery was tested on black women, female slaves with no anesthesia. And it's like now that we know, we have to do better. We cannot, and it's not about it's his history. Yeah, there's a lot of dark history that we don't
Christopher
memorialize.
Columbus was a rapist. Stop selling mattresses on his day. Okay.
So you want me to answer the question about the statues?
Yes.
Okay, so a couple of different things. One in which, first, I think local municipalities should be able to petition, rather the citizens in those local municipalities should be able to petition to see if they want to have the statues removed. Two, I don't see why you got statues of the Confederacy up anyway, because
they committed treason.
Well, but not just that. I mean, you're trying to escape from the Union, which they did for 3 years. Right. You lost the war to keep slavery in. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Republican believes in giving a participation trophy. Right. Certainly not. Like, that's whack.
Listen.
And then, like, on the 3, 4, 5 point, if you're going to just be putting up statues of people, why don't we just put up a statue of Nat Turner everywhere?
There you go.
Let the rebellion. We can do that.
Or if you're really about history, how about we put O.J. Simpson in all the white neighborhoods where all the white women are and see how they feel about that. Wow. How about that?
Hey, that is true because they're talking about what Robert E. Lee was able to do after the Civil War and how he tried to bring
Fuck the World Trade Center, O.J.
O.J. Simpson everywhere. He could be in all the neighborhoods like this with a knife.
That is the equivalent of O.J. getting out of prison now in 20, 25 years from now, doing something positive in the community. Maybe you win a Nobel Peace Prize and then somebody giving a statue.
Right.
They
put up a statue of him in Brentwood.
statue with him holding Nicole's head. How about that?
Oh, my
God.
God. But see, they don't care about how we
I'm out.
I'm going to have to get out of here, y'all.
Hold on 1 second. The reason I said that they have a statue with a guy with a black dude on his knees like he's petting him like he's a boy.
But that's what they don't care about our feelings. Is what
Right.
I'm saying.
So with him holding Nicole's head, why is that worse than him petting the boy?
Because she's white.
Oh, okay,
You can't
good
do
point.
that.
Yeah.
So, G,
or Ronald's head.
I feel you were born to be in the situation that you're in, and I say that because growing up in the South Side of Chicago, which is not,
Easy.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Right.
The situation with your mom,
Man, you really researched me.
With your mom,
I got a story about that too.
And 8 siblings. About his mom, was addicted to crack cocaine, and he used to go. Your out was going to work with your grandfather.
Yeah.
Who owned the plumbing and sewage company.
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel God put you in that position because you going through all of that and having to probably hide all the stuff and put on a face of happy face when things really were dramatic, And then also working with, being a plumber, working with the sewage and, refuge and feces
my
and all that stuff.
A lot of shit.
And then you dealing with the Trump administration with a lot of shit.
You set his ass up.
You set him up. Oh, my God.
So I feel
you had me with the crack bomb and all that. Come on, man.
But in real talk, though, he had a really, really rough upbringing. And he wanted to help people. He wanted to help and make a difference. So to see the table, I understand why you want that seat at the table. It's just that this was not the right table.
Right.
But to deal with the bullshit that's coming out of the Trump administration, because it's not an administration, it's an administration because we're cramped, we're bloated, we're angry, we need a pad.
This still is the seat of power. He still holds the seat of power, and if you want to be a part of the conversation, you're going to have to be
He's
there.
the second most powerful man in the world.
That's true, and I appreciate you learning about my story.
I'm proud of where you've come from and where you are right now.
And I appreciate that.
Can I ask you what made you gravitate towards the Republican Party?
There you go. Good.
That's an interesting question. So,
isn't it?
And your family
really
speak to you?
No. So none of my family are Republican. No one in my family is Republican.
They speak to you?
What the hell happened to you?
Well, they disown me for a little bit, but that
you can't come to the
blood. It was like, we heard that viral clip. We want to invite you to the family reunion.
Dude, I try to disown my brother, but blood is hard sometimes to disown blood.
How many times when you walk in the room do you hear one of your aunts say, "This nigga"?
He one of those.
You know what's crazy? I work at Fox as well. When I tell old black women I work at Fox, I say Fox Sports really quick because they'll give me that look.
Well, that's different.
I know, but I'll say, hey, you know what, baby, you left ESPN. Yeah, I left ESPN. Where you at? I'm over at Fox. And they be like, they give me that look like, the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, Fox Sports is different.
So why?
She had a story.
Why did you gravitate towards the Republican Party?
So I was having a conversation with an older African American Democrat, a black. I said that this is an urban show.
Black dude.
A Negro.
We don't have to translate here. Anyway, so I'm having a conversation with this guy, and I'm talking about Republican Democrat politics. Very young, and he started challenging me on my viewpoint. Because I said, all Republicans are racist. They don't care about black people. The same stuff I grew up hearing in the community. So I just disseminated that same message. Right. So he challenged me on it. Whenever I'm challenged, I go research so I can have a stronger argument.
Absolutely.
And when I researched, I learned that the Republican Party was started in 1854 in opposition to the Kansas-Nebraska Act, which wanted to expand slavery into the North.
Exactly.
I learned that just about every civil rights bill was sponsored, introduced by a Republican, and passed by Republican congressional bodies. When I learned that MLK was a Republican, when I learned all these different things, I thought it was like propaganda websites that I was looking at because I'd never heard any of this. I thought it was BS. But once I learned that, and I decided, man, maybe I need to check into this a little bit more.
But it flipped, though.
Yeah, things
and I just want to say this real quick. I don't have a problem with Republicans at all. I make Republican money, but I vote Democrat.
Right.
I'm
but
looking
the thing
at
about
some
it is,
Tom Fords.
What lost
them
me.
Them the cheaper versions, though, so I don't know.
No, these are prescriptions.
The prescriptions.
Yeah. So the thing about it, when they lost me was at the Democratic National Convention when Romney was running, and at the Republican National Convention, I'm sorry, and they showed pictures of Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, and no one clapped. And they showed a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ronald Reagan, and everybody stood up and clapped. And I'm like, this is the party of civil rights. How do you not know these figures? How do you not know who Rosa Parks is and who Martin Luther King is? I'm like, the black people who were there, how do you not get upset at your party who doesn't acknowledge Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, the mother and father of civil rights?
But that was an acknowledgement, and I'm going to be honest with you.
No, but the audience didn't clap at all.
So you're saying there's some education necessary.
Exactly.
I get that. But you know what? Honestly, there are black Republicans out here that go and talk to the leadership on a very consistent basis and say, look, here's our grievances. We don't like what Trump said. There's a group that's going to the White House. We don't like what Trump said. We don't like
every day.
But don't you guys kind of get, like, they don't really listen to y'all?
I disagree with that. I'm right here in front of you.
Yeah, but you're on a podcast.
I'm right here in front of you. But you see me on Fox. You know me from a viral clip on Fox News Channel.
I do, but because it was kind of sensational.
You know what? You want to be honest? One of the reasons why I knew I had to do what I did the other day is because I knew that Trump was going to be watching what I was doing. I know, and I got confirmation from the White House that he saw it. So I wanted
Right,
to
he
speak
watches
directly
all
to
of
the
that.
president.
Right.
And you say they don't listen?
So
they
he
listen.
hates
I don't think they listen to Black Republicans.
So he
I
hates you
don't.
now.
They listen. I don't think they care.
They don't
They don't.
care.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
they look at you
they'll
like
listen.
They
They don't
listen. I
care.
don't think they care.
honestly, the experience that I have with the people that I know, the billionaire Republicans that I know, it seems like it's almost like they want to pat you on the head, like "Thank you for helping us out," but we're not really taking you seriously.
Hey man, we appreciate you coming.
And we want you to stick around. We can talk to you all day, and it seems like we have already. But we want to talk to you a little bit more because we want to kick somebody out of the community a little bit later. All right, we want to get your help with that coming up right here on the. What is this? The Unstable or the Unstable podcast? It's Unstable. Unstable podcast coming up next.
Please welcome Claudia Jordan. Is it true that Omarosa and you were friends before The Apprentice even started?
We were, and I never watched Omarosa when she was on The Apprentice, so I knew her outside of Apprentice. So everybody would say, why are you friends with that girl? She's rotten, she's evil. And I saw a different side of her.
Yeah.
And so I never really experienced that. So, you know, being on the show with her, I got to see, I guess that's the real her.
Well, and then the big fallout between you happened not because of behavior on The Apprentice, but according to Omarosa, your behavior at her fiancé Michael Clark Duncan's funeral. When he passed away, she requested, this is according to O, she requested that nobody take pictures inside of the funeral, and you took pictures and put it on Instagram. We have the picture that, and so she thought that was the height of disrespect, and that was the fallout.
You know what's funny about that? This is the first I've heard about this, and for her to have an issue with me putting a picture, a tribute to Michael, who was my friend, when this woman had a red carpet at her fiancé's funeral, I think that's a little bit more despicable. She was doing press at the funeral. How upset were you? And she didn't cry, so she didn't need any makeup touch-ups.
Back on the Unstable podcast, Mike Hill, Guy Torrey, Claudia Jordan, C. Wilson, still joined the studio by Gianno, Caldwell. We got a Black Republican in the building, baby.
building.
We are crossing over, baby.
They exist.
Y'all finally diverse. He is my first Black Republican. I actually touched one. This is awesome.
You ain't touch me, bro.
Wow.
You want you touching
Do you guys want some time alone?
Yeah.
Steve, all them white girls you had growing up, I know. Come on now.
You gonna touch him like your
Gianno.
uncle touched you? Unicorns are real, huh?
Wow.
No, man, we appreciate
Sharp
you being
left.
here. All right, Steve, it's time to kick somebody out of the community.
Kick 'em
man.
out.
It's time for the Neighborhood Watch.
It's time for our neighborhood watch. So check this out, brother. This is what we do every week. We have two people that we want to kick out. This week we're going to do three because three because one is a pair.
Okay.
So the first one is these people here drive me so fucking crazy. We're going to let you hear the clip. Diamond and Silk.
Well, it looks like the left has a group called Antifa, and they're going around shouting people down, trying to shut down people's free speech. You know, this reminds me of back in the day when there was somebody walking around with white hoods on their heads and white sheets on their backs and calling themselves the KKK. They were doing that to terrorize, to intimidate, to manipulate people. And it looked like this is the new modern day KKK because now we have them dressed up in black, almost like an ISIS-like type, with black hats on their heads. Yes.
Now, do I have to say anything? I mean, really, these two people, they go on and they're stereotypical, and it just angers the fuck out of me because they go on and they just make us look bad, and then they sell out and they go to the NRA meetings and they get paid.
Did you see them at the Republican National Convention with Roland Martin that time? Did you see that? If you haven't seen that, go to YouTube and look that up, man. You will see them
It just
in their full
angers
glory.
me. So those are the two people right now that I want to say I'm voting for them too.
Okay.
On our neighborhood
So
watch.
who's the other
But
one?
our next is, it seems like if you go on Twitter, he's the most hated brother right now in the Republican. Paris Denard. Here we go.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
He said,
I know what it means to be a black man in this country. I know and I experience racism on a regular basis by being a Trump supporter and by being a proud American who happens to be a Republican. I get racist
that's the racism you experience by being a Trump supporter?
I get racist comments about my family, about my mother, about my girlfriend, about my character. Every single day, mostly coming from black people.
First of all, I got to speak on this.
He got me on that one. He said girlfriend.
He doesn't have a girlfriend. He does not have a girlfriend. He's not like women. I could tell.
They do call them girlfriend, though.
Oh.
They do.
I tweet him. I harass him all the time on Twitter.
Oh.
He is
you
such.
asking for a date?
No, I harass him. He is such a bitch.
Oh
I can't. Paris Denard, if you are listening, get at me at Claudia Jordan, ClaudiaJordan7 AOL.com. No. I don't want him, and he doesn't want me.
I got your back, Claudia.
He is such a bitch.
He is a bitch.
He makes it hard to like that.
Paris, get at her.
Mount, yes, he's terrible. No.
Oh, no.
He's so Paris, people don't. We don't not like you because you're a black Republican.
Right.
We don't like you because you're an asshole.
Okay, hold on. Before you go in on it, she's in her feelings, right?
I am. I don't like him. I hate him.
So I think we have Claudia's vote.
No, I don't like those other bitches either. Those fucking coons get paid they only got to pay $1,500. That's it. They made no money. And they got those cheap ass wigs from the hair salon, the hair catalogs that I used to do cheap wig ads for back in the day.
That's the shit that makes me mad. Because listen,
high cholesterol, diabetes, no doubts. Probably can't even cook. I know they got dirty houses. Both of them look very Section 8. I can't stand them. They're so embarrassing. And Donald Trump would never be friends with someone like that.
He wouldn't even rent to them.
He wouldn't rent to them. Listen, when I was friends with Trump, he's very prejudiced against unattractive women and fat people. He didn't like them. He don't like them. They are disqualified.
Right.
I can't stand either of those.
So listen, before we go any further.
I'm sorry, people.
We got everybody's going to vote between Paris Denard and Diamond and Silk, but we want our guests to speak on.
Yes.
Yeah, so what you want to say, G?
I hate them.
So first, Diamond and Silk, I met them at the RNC too, and I walked up to them. And I was like, yo, let's turn up. Who got the Remy and Co? I do Hennessy, too, if you got it. What's good? So that's how we kicked it off. But I think they're more entertainment. I don't think they're like black Republicans. It's entertaining. It's just funny. That's what it is.
But people take them serious. That's the sad part.
Right. Yeah, but that's not like
Dumb
the community taking them seriously.
I don't think people take them seriously.
Social community, though, and that's growing.
But nobody's really I think
Fox
people
News
see it
take
as
them serious.
No. I don't think they're taking
They've been on CNN,
seriously.
they've been on Fox, they've been on MSNBC, they've been on everybody's show, but I think it's more comedic.
They've been on Figueroa, too.
I don't like, they're putting themselves out there.
They're La Brea.
They're cooning. They're
They are,
cooning.
big time.
They're cooning for the right. The right doesn't embrace those type of black people. They really don't. Let's be honest.
What kind of black
about
people do they embrace?
Not that.
What kind of black people do they embrace?
Ben Carson, you probably.
Okay, why do they?
Paris.
Let's ask
Well,
this
you
question.
guys
Why do they embrace me?
You're articulate and you're smart. I could see them being cool with you, but maybe still talk a little shit behind your back because you're still black at the end of the day.
Right.
Seriously.
Well, he's one of the good ones.
Right.
He's actually intelligent. He's articulate.
Rub off.
There's no way
He speaks so well.
that the Republican or Democrat, no one's embracing a Diamond and Silk. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous characters.
And that's why I want to kick them out of the community because they're a minstrel show. That's
And
exactly what
and they were paid $1,300 for field consulting work.
Fuck out of here.
That was just by the Trump campaign. They monetize in other ways. Their
How?
videos,
YouTube
they sell merchandise.
What do they sell?
No,
What do they? I wouldn't eat their potato salad. It's definitely gonna be trash. Okay, they're garbage. They're fake black people. Fuck them.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that there's a such thing as fake black people, but for them, I
Stacey
think.
Dash.
Stacey Dash.
Look, we all come from
Denard.
different. We all come from different places.
Do you
I
know
agree with
Paris?
you there.
You
You know,
know
I
Paris?
mean,
You know
there's
Paris?
no such thing as nobody has a trademark on what's an authentic black person. My experience, you just mentioned. You said,
no,
look,
God's an
my
authentic
mom went
black
through
person.
her
Look at him.
addiction issues and all that, but I still became a Republican. And people say, how is that even possible?
Right. I
I'm
still wanna
very
know.
authentically black.
I still
You
wanna
were at
know.
Bootsy Bellows on Saturday, and I was at Bootsy Bellows on Friday. Like
I was
we
there
out
last
here.
night.
Was it trap?
Huh?
Was it trap music?
little bit trap. Not enough
Trap,
trap.
Oh, yeah,
trap,
he really.
It wasn't enough trap.
And so what is the biggest
you losing
misperception
then.
about a black Republican?
Yes.
See, I didn't know they had niggas as Republicans. See, I thought he was a black guy. He a nigga.
No, he real, though.
I'm an authentic
We're gonna
black
test
person, I
that
like
blackness
to
in a
say.
second. I have a word association game with you.
Okay, so the biggest misconception is, uptight. kind of lame. You don't like black people. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I experienced that in Illinois with some black Republicans that really didn't seem like they like black people.
Right.
They go in the room, there's white folks there, and you go, they be like, oh, let me move away.
Right. So did you say, Miss
Now,
Dash, get out my way?
I experienced that. But in D.C., it's totally different. Like, I met some really cool black folks. We go party. We go on, I'm not going to mention no clubs. We out here. We living. It's litty.
Certain black Republicans, you don't look like you'd be welcome at their house. Like Ben and Candy, I don't think they would allow us there. They look like...
I disagree.
Do you like Ben Carson?
Huh?
Do you like Ben Carson?
I appreciate Dr. Carson for what he brings to the table, his history. I think that he's a good person generally.
Every time I see him, I know Forrest Whitaker is turning over in his grave.
I had respect for him. Then I saw his wife. I lost respect.
Come
she
on,
tried to
sis.
sing the national anthem. I was like, wow, is that what we're really doing? First of all, your man doesn't love you. He knows you can't sing, and he lets you go on national television and sing like that. So he knows. It's like, if I know my man is terrible at bowling, I'm not going to let him enter like the highest.
T.O.'s bowling
Right, like
league.
you're gonna embarrass yourself. Like you know that
CP3's bowling tournament.
You know she can't. You know she can't sing.
It's time to vote. Who you got?
All right, so listen, I'm going to go with
I'm an
Paris
asshole.
Denard only because he is an intellectual, and when you speak intellectually about things like that, people will believe it more than being coonish like
So he's more
Diamond and Silk.
damaging.
Yeah, Diamond and Silk are just coonish, and I just hate them because they're assholes.
Hate is a strong word.
What about you, Gianno?
So to be real with you, like in terms of voting people, I got issues with Paris Denard. I really do, and I wouldn't say that I'm
Republican beef.
No, it's not
Black
that.
on black crime.
See, look, y'all gonna put this podcast out, and there's gonna be headlines. Gianno Caldwell, black Republican issues with Paris Denard. And that's how
what you
it's gonna
just
go viral.
said.
Your word.
Sound like Donald Trump now. Say something, and then you don't like, oh, now you just fake news.
The headline going to be you call Paris Denard a nigga.
I got issues with Paris Denard.
With this, with Paris is he defends absolutely everything President Trump says.
That's why you called him a
He
nigga.
can do nothing wrong. Come on now.
I agree. That's why you
And
called him a nigga.
this is inside conversations that I have with other folks on the scene, TV commentators. I'm like, yo, what are you gonna do after Trump?
Right.
Because you defend everything. So
Paris Denard is a 2017 Steven from Django.
What?
We sick.
Django, yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
sick. Like he's that's
Who that nigga on that neck?
All right, guys, who you voting now?
Man, Paris Denard, man, all day long, all day strong,
Yeah,
man. I got
yeah.
issues with that brother, man.
This might be our undefeated one. We might be undefeated.
Okay.
Well, I didn't say vote him out. I said I got issues with him.
I'm voting
Y'all
out the
decide.
nigga.
But you already called him a nigga. In the
No,
last
I didn't use that language. I wouldn't use any of that kind of language.
Gianno, you never use the N-word.
Your bosses and Fox
You never use the
he
N-word.
listens to trap. Yes, he does.
No.
You should use the word nigga because that's what they say at Fox when you're around.
That nigga get his paycheck this week. That nigga still working here.
That nigga still he trying to
Put that nigga on and make us seem like we open.
Why was that nigga crying?
Yo, Fox has been really good to me. They
Fox
offered
has
me a
been really
great
good.
No.
20.
They've been very, very good people over there. Really good people.
Don't lose
Seriously.
your job, man.
I hear
Both of
you.
us, I see you eye to eye right here.
Wink, wink.
Eyes with you. Eyes with you, boss.
no.
Eyes with you.
I shouldn't have did this one.
Mike.
Eyes with you.
Do they ask you to not have facial hair on the show?
No, it's never that.
Do they tell you
see,
to
I
take-
got a part.
You want a little bit?
That's in the good
Did they
Negro
tell you
handbook.
You see what I'm wearing?
Let me see. But this is a podcast. You knew you weren't going to be on TV.
So listen,
He looked like Honey, I Blew Up Tevin Campbell.
Bruh. Hey, this is what I do all day long.
What kind of
Because
food?
I'm about to get on your teeth in a minute, bro. You need to have them boys bleach.
wow.
That boy looks
No,
like
those
he
are-
gargle with coffee.
Those
Come
are
on
new
now,
ones,
B.
though.
Don't get me
Just
started.
making stuff
I like
up. All right,
him.
get you started.
Yeah,
now.
Come on, let's go.
I
Finish
do
it.
this
Them skinny
all
jeans
day.
you got on and that tight ass shirt. I can see your heart beating. Goddamn. You got a heart murmur.
Bruh, I got my clothes in the same place you got yours
No,
from.
man, them G stars.
JC Penney's. I'm looking at
them G's are a different G. These are G stars. Those are G terrible.
All right.
I like this.
Oh, come on.
brother.
You want to go name brand? Adidas, G Star, Lacoste, Top Man. We can keep going. Tom Ford. We can go fuck Trump hat. You ain't said nothing about that, huh?
Can we take a picture with you with the hat on?
Right.
No, I definitely
Wait,
won't.
man,
Hey, come on, man.
Oh,
My man rocking a Forever 21 outfit right now.
What's wrong with that? Now we better than Forever 21?
I know. Oh,
Looking at.
Who did I pick?
Yeah, CJ.
I was gonna make a really, really bad insensitive joke, but I'm not gonna go there.
Why? Stopping you now?
No, it's too far. It's way too far.
Hey, guy, shot. Get her shot. Get her
Go
shot.
ahead. Hey, we can edit it out, Claudia. We can edit it out.
We'll edit it out.
We want to hear it now.
Okay, so I got to pick between Diamond and Silk and Paris Denard.
Uh-huh.
No, it's just too tasteless. It's even for me, it's too bad.
What?
Everything you said has been tasteless.
Okay. It's too soon. It's too soon, though. Okay. No.
Okay, I got you.
It's really bad.
I got you.
I was gonna say like, can you?
No.
No, if you don't, don't worry about it.
Just basically, I'm killing all them niggas.
Okay.
They all can go.
Don't say kill. Kill is such a strong word.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, not figuratively.
She put him in a coma.
I'm taking. I don't.
After
I don't
last
rock
week's
with-
comment.
I don't know which one's worse. I can't pick.
Well, one of them is cartoonish and very ignorant, and the other one's intellectual and can be damaging.
But
They're both damaging.
a lot of people, Diamond and Silk appeal to a lot of people in Middle America that are not sophisticated. You know what I mean?
And that's the reason why I want to.
Like people
the
watch
people
Jerry
that read
Springer.
on the fourth grade level.
Exactly,
and
the Jerry
working
Springer
coal
is
mines.
like-
So who do you want, baby? You got to pick one.
The deplorables. Trump's other.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Paris now because I can't stand his.
It's
he has
unanimous
no basis
decision.
voice.
Paris.
No, I said
neighbor-
Diamond and Silk.
Oh, did you?
I said because you know what the thing is, it's still the stereotypes that a lot of people in this country want to see us acting like.
Well, then you
got to
kick a lot of niggas out of Hollywood then.
Yeah, I know, but
Come on, dog.
No, but
that's a weak ass basis. But go ahead.
No, it's a minstrel show, man.
Well,
so
then check this out. Then
Hollywood's
with
a
Paris
minstrel fucking
Denard.
show.
I think we gotta have different flavors.
Goodbye, Paris
Exactly.
Denard.
Yeah, Perry, you got it.
On your
All right.
neighborhood
Yeah.
watch.
Hey, G, I appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, man. Great
We
guest,
had a
man.
great time with you. You are
Absolutely.
awesome, man. You
Great
were awesome.
guest.
Best of luck with everything, man.
Thank you.
Keep
and
on doing what you're doing.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Get it out there, get it out
We'll
there.
hit you
Gianno
up.
Caldwell. Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
Italian? That's just
Can
Italian
you
name.
spell it
My
for him?
birthday, Gianno.
Is that your real name or your club name?
Let him get out. Let him get out.
So, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook at Gianno Caldwell, Gianno Caldwell, Caldwell.
There you go.
That
Thank
is
you,
it.
man.
Hey, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And
Yes,
that
sir,
is
brother.
another edition of the
Hell yeah.
podcast for this week. We're still trying to decide on the name.
still,
Unstable.
man, I'm at a
I
black
like
Republican.
unstable.
No, it's
But how do you?
But they
how do
like
you-
unstable.
But
Unstable.
it looks better. But how do you explain that? That's poor.
Our show.
No, but but what does that
Exactly.
mean? What does it mean?
What does punked mean without the ed when it was just PUNK with the apostrophe D?
Yeah,
on
you know what it
But
meant?
that's
A
a
check
real
for
word, though.
Ashton.
Exactly.
exactly,
So
man.
it's like unstable. It's like when people see it, it's like, well, what is this? Then they tune in. It's all about marketing.
Oh, the apostrophe
wow.
D
The-
gonna make
the
people.
apo-
No, seriously, it looks
Not
better to
Claudia's
the eye.
titties. It was the apostrophe
Right.
D.
Fuck my titties. It's about the D. I see how
Well,
y'all
you
are.
ain't getting any D's.
I will be in Vegas next week.
So what the fuck?
Oh shit!
Only
that
because
is
I have
it.
standards.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta wrap.
Yo,
All right.
Can I tell you before we go?
Wait,
I
we're
love
done.
working
We're not
with
talking
y'all.
about relationships. We're not going to talk
Not
about the
this
foot rub
week.
guy. And,
Oh, we're gonna talk about that
No,
next week.
we had such a great interview with Gianno, man. I mean,
I mean, it was
this
I.
is-
No, I'm kidding.
No, it was a great interview.
That was good.
I mean,
See, no, we was gonna talk about
YouTube.
we was talking about this
iTunes.
guy who was rubbing this woman's feet in the club. We're gonna talk about the next show. Like, would you
Yeah.
do that?
We can
He
have a
just
two-parter.
met her.
We got to go?
Yeah, we gotta
I
go.
thought we already logged off.
Okay, let's say our goodbyes.
All right, Claudia Jordan, thanks so much. You had a great time as always.
I'm going to the Dominican Republic, and I will have fun down there. No, I'm not. There's HIV down there. Hell no.
Oh, well, she'll get some in Vegas.
I could just get that in Atlanta if I want to catch AIDS or LA. Hit me on social media at Claudia Jordan. I answer all of your messages and stuff, even the dick pics.
This is Guy Torrey. I'll be in Orlando, Florida, August 31st through September 3rd at the Orlando Improv. Come check me out.
And I'm Mike Hill. Of course, I'll be on Fox Sports 1 and other broadcast outlets. And that's Steve Wilson. He'll be
That's
at
right.
home.
I'll be
Unemployment office.
I'll be at the Oxnard Levity Live Tuesday and going home to see my family all week in Buffalo.
Your family ain't shit. Why you going to see them?
Still got to go see the family.
You must need some money.
Crackheads need love. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.